Anthropic just dropped a new flagship model, Claude Opus 4.8. It builds on 4.7. But the real story is not simply raw intelligence or another benchmark jump. The interesting part is that it is being positioned as a better collaborator, sharper judgment, more honest self-assessment, and the ability to keep working for longer without needing constant steering. And the best part? It comes at the same price as 4.7. So the question is simple. How much better is it in practice? Let's dig in. The big idea is that Opus 4.8 is not just smarter, it is more dependable. The standout claim is that it is 4 times less likely to miss a flow in code it writes itself, which is exactly the kind of improvement that matters when you are using AI as a real coding partner. On top of that, it shows better judgment on multi-step tasks, more honesty about its own work, more stamina over long sessions, and fewer unnecessary steps to get there. In other words, it is not just giving answers, it is getting closer to behaving like a teammate you can trust to run with a task. The benchmarks also point in the same direction. Every headline number is up from 4.7, which makes this feel less like a narrow upgrade and more like a broad improvement across the model. Agentic coding climbs to nearly 70%, while reasoning, computer use, and knowledge work all move up as well. That matters because real workflows do not happen in one clean benchmark. They involve messy prompts, tool use, corrections, planning, and long chains of decisions. So broad, consistent gains are more interesting than one cherry-picked score. Opus 4.8 also introduces 3 new ways to work that are clearly aimed at more serious agentic workflows. First, there is effort control, so you can dial how hard the model thinks depending on the task. Second, there are dynamic workflows, where Claude Code can fan out parallel subagents to attack bigger problems from multiple angles. Third, there is fast mode, which is 2.5 times faster and 3 times cheaper than before. That combination is important because agentic AI is not only about intelligence. It is also about speed, cost, and how efficiently the model can move through a real project. So we have the same price, a sharper model, and a set of features that suggest Anthropic wants Opus 4.8 to be used for more ambitious work, not just chat. That creates big expectations. If the model really is more reliable, more honest, faster when needed, and better at long-running tasks, then it could be a serious step forward for coding, research, automation, and creative technical workflows. But those are just nice words. The real question is whether Opus 4.8 can actually perform when we move beyond slides and marketing claims. Full disclosure, these slides were built with Claude as an example of the style. So now let's test the agentic capabilities live. I'll start with a little vibe coding, then connect straight to Blender over MCP and see whether Opus 4.8 can drive a real 3D scene. No perfect script, no carefully polished demo. Just a practical test. Enough talk. Let's see what it can do. For the first task, I wanted to test Opus 4.8 on something visual, technical, and practical. The prompt was simple. Create a local JavaScript web application that shows a body sitting inside a gravitational mesh, similar to the reference image. I did not ask for a polished product at the beginning. I just wanted to see whether the model could understand the concept, translate it into an interactive web app, and make it run locally in a normal browser. Opus 4.8 started by building a single self-contained HTML file using Three.js. The first version created a 3D wireframe lattice that warped toward one glowing body. It also included interaction. I could drag the body, orbit the camera, zoom in and out, and adjust the mass, grid density, and softening using sliders. So already, from a short prompt, it created not just a static visual, but a working interactive simulation. Then I asked for 2 bodies. The model updated the app, so the mesh deformation became the combined effect of both gravity wells. It added a second glowing body, made both bodies draggable, and included an orbit animation so they could move like a binary system. After that, I asked for different color visualizations. Opus 4.8 added a color scheme selector with several scientific style palettes, including a 2-body domain mode to show which body had more influence in different parts of the mesh. Finally, we checked whether the grid between the 2 bodies was correct. The model launched the page, took a screenshot, inspected the region between the objects, and explained the behavior clearly. It noted that the current version was modeling gravitational field superposition, where forces can cancel near the midpoint, rather than a classic potential well visual where the two wells merge into one valley. Overall, this was an impressive result, especially given the limited time used to develop the web app. From a simple visual prompt, Opus 4.8 created an interactive local simulation, extended it with two bodies, added visualization options, tested the output, and explained the physics behind what we were seeing. Before we jump into Blender MCP, if you are enjoying this video, please hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel, and it tells the algorithm that I am not just talking to myself in a room full of AI models. For the second challenge, I wanted to move from a browser-based web app to a real 3D workflow inside Blender. The first step was simple. Check whether Opus 4.8 could establish a live connection with Blender through MCP. It loaded the Blender tool schema, called Blender directly, and confirmed that the connection was working. Blender responded with the current scene information, including the default camera, cube, and light. So the setup was live and ready. Then I gave it the actual task: create a cute rubber duck 3D model in Blender. The prompt asked for a clean, simple, visually appealing duck using rounded shapes, a glossy yellow rubber material, a small orange beak, black eyes, and the professional studio setup. I also asked for a circular white platform, soft shadows, 3-point lighting, and a 3/4 camera view suitable for a YouTube thumbnail. Opus 4.8 then started building the scene step by step. It cleaned the default Blender scene, checked the rendering setup, enabled cycles with GPU rendering, and removed the default cube and light. Then it generated the actual duck model using smooth merged shapes for the body and head, adding the beak and eyes, and assigning the correct materials. After that, it built the studio environment, the white platform, curved backdrop, key light, fill light, rim light, camera angle, and color settings. The impressive part was not just that it created the model. It also reviewed the first render, noticed issues, and improved them. It identified dark corners in the backdrop, a yellow color that was slightly too pale, and square reflections from the lights. Then it corrected the scene by enlarging the backdrop, making the yellow richer, and switching to rounder lights for better reflections. After another render, it made the final polish pass: stronger thumbnail color, softer reflections, improved the rim lighting, higher samples, and denoising. The final result was a polished glossy rubber duck on a clean studio platform, fully centered, well lit, and ready for a YouTube-style thumbnail. Overall, this was an impressive result, especially given the limited time used to develop the Blender scene. Opus 4.8 did not just execute a command. It connected to Blender, built the model, rendered it, reviewed the output, diagnosed visual problems, and improved the final image like a real 3D assistant. This was probably my favorite task of the whole Opus 4.8 test, but I will not show you the final result immediately. I want you to see how it got there, because the interesting part was not just the staircase, it was the process, the planning, the mistake, the feedback, and the correction. For this challenge, I wanted to test something more advanced inside Blender. The goal was not just to create a simple 3D model. I wanted to see whether Opus 4.8 could use the Blender MCP connection to build a procedural geometry node system for a spiral staircase, similar to the reference image. The prompt was straightforward: create a spiral stair in Blender using geometry nodes, but the hidden challenge was bigger. I did not want a static mesh that looked good only once. I wanted something procedural, flexible, and editable, where the number of steps, the height, the rotation, the thread size, and other elements could be adjusted later without rebuilding everything. Opus 4.8 started by checking the Blender scene through MCP. It confirmed that the scene was still the default Blender setup with the cube, camera, and light. Then it proposed a clean procedural workflow. Use a mesh line to generate a vertical series of points, space them using the stepwise, rotate each point by an angle per step, and then instance the stair threads and balusters around the central pole. Then it built the first version directly in Blender. The result already had a central pole, spiral treads, and balusters following the outer curve. It also kept the default cube hidden rather than deleting it, which made the workflow reversible. More importantly, the staircase was not just a shape. It was driven by a geometry nodes modifier with live editable parameters. At this stage, the model looked good, but something felt incomplete. And this is where the test became really interesting. The handrail was missing. For a spiral staircase, that is not a small detail. It changes the whole reading of the model. Opus 4.8 immediately understood the issue. It explained that the reference image had a continuous helical handrail along the top of the balusters, then rebuilt the node group to add that missing element. It created a handrail branch by tracing a helix through the baluster tops and sweeping a circular profile along it. It also exposed a new parameter for the handrail radius. And this is why it became my favorite task. I expected a simple spiral stair, but Opus 4.8 produced a proper procedural geometry node setup with editable parameters, a central pole, treads, balusters, and then corrected the missing handrail after feedback. After that update, the staircase finally read as complete. Central pole, spiral treads, outer balusters, and a smooth, continuous handrail following the helix. Even better, the whole system remained procedural. Changing the number of steps, the angle per step, or the baluster height would automatically refit the rail and update the full staircase. That was well above what I was hoping for. This is exactly the kind of agentic workflow I wanted to see. Build, review, improve, and keep the model flexible. It was not just generating geometry. It was checking the scene, planning the workflow, building the system, receiving feedback, identifying what was missing, and improving the result. Let us move to the final test. This task started with a lot of expectation from my side, but I have to be honest, it became one of the most frustrating parts of the Opus 4.8 test. The quality of the final result I will leave to you to judge at the end of this part. The prompt was to recreate a cute low-poly Blender diorama from a reference image. The scene needed a small landscape, a curved road, a river edge, trees, rocks, an obstruction, and a red car driving toward it, braking just in time, and leaving a dust puff behind. So this was not just a modeling task, it was a small animated scene with a story. At the beginning, Opus 4.8 started well. It checked the Blender setup, inspected the scene, and began building the base, grass, road, and water. But quite quickly, I had to correct it. In the reference image, the water was not a small pond in the corner. It was more like a river or shoreline running along the edge of the terrain. The model understood the correction and rebuilt the water to follow the front right edge more closely. Then it added the road, trees, rocks, and scene details. The first version looked promising, but there were obvious problems. Some trees and rocks were sitting on the road, the bare tree branches looked strange, and the river geometry was still not close enough to the reference. This is where I had to tell the model not to rush and to check these errors carefully. One of the main issues was that Opus 4.8 was acting a bit blindly. It was making changes in Blender without always checking the scene properly. It also relied too much on full renders to inspect the model, which wastes time and computer resources, so I had to explicitly tell it to take multiple viewport screenshots instead. That made the workflow much better. Once it started using screenshots, the corrections became more grounded. It checked the scene from a clearer isometric angle and confirmed the problems. Unwanted objects on the road, pines too close to the road and water, and bare trees that looked like spikes. Then it regenerated the foliage with better placement logic, keeping objects away from the road and water, and redesigned the bare trees so they looked more like proper forking dead trees. After that, it added the intentional obstruction, a fallen log with broken branches and rocks across the road. This part worked better. The obstruction clearly blocked the car's path. Then it created the small red car and animated it driving toward the obstruction, braking hard, nosediving slightly, stopping before the log, and producing a dust puff behind it. But the car still needed work. I noticed that the windows and windscreen were not visible. Opus 4.8 correctly identified the issue. The glass window band was hidden inside the red cabin, so the windows could not be seen. It rebuilt the car as a better low-poly vehicle while keeping the existing animation intact. That was one of the stronger moments in the task, because it improved the model without destroying the rig or redoing the animation. The improved car had a clearer red body, visible glass, a roof cap, bumpers, grille, lights, and better wheels. It did hit a technical problem with material slots, but it understood the mistake, fixed the indexing, and reran the code. Then it inspected the car with screenshots. At first, trees were blocking the view, so it temporarily isolated the car and checked it properly. Finally, I asked for more smoke from the car brakes. It inspected the existing dust setup and rebuilt it as a larger, more visible billowing cloud with stronger opacity and a longer fade. When it first checked the scene, playback was still running, so the screenshot captured the wrong frame before the main dust appeared. It noticed the mistake, stopped playback, jumped to the braking moment, and checked again. So this task had some good recoveries, but it was not smooth. Opus 4.8 fixed the river, cleared the road, redesigned the trees, improved the car, animated the water, and strengthened the braking dust. But it needed a lot of steering, especially to look at the scene properly before making decisions. So, is Opus 4.8 a game changer? Probably not. But am I going to use it? Of course, yes. It feels like a small but useful improvement over Opus 4.7, and at the same price, I'll take it. Thanks to Anthropic for the upgrade. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Ciao.